Hello fellow gardeners, and welcome back to the Humus Heritage. Today we're exploring something that might sound a bit unconventional at first, but trust me when I say this combination has the potential to transform the way you think about feeding your soil and accelerating plant growth. We're talking about sugar and wood ash, two simple materials that most of us either have at home or can easily access, yet their combined power in the garden often goes completely overlooked. What makes sugar and wood ash such a remarkable pairing is their complementary nature. While they come from entirely different sources and serve different purposes, when used together thoughtfully, they create a synergy that addresses both the biological and mineral needs of your soil ecosystem. Sugar acts as rocket fuel for the microscopic workforce in your soil, the billions of beneficial bacteria and fungi that make nutrients available to plant roots. Meanwhile, wood ash delivers a concentrated package of essential minerals, particularly potassium, calcium, and phosphorus, that plants need for robust growth, flowering, and fruiting. This isn't about replacing your regular fertilization routine, but rather enhancing it by working with nature's own systems. The beauty of this approach lies in its simplicity and accessibility, qualities that align perfectly with sustainable gardening practices. Let's clear up a common misconception right away. When we talk about using sugar in the garden, we're not directly feeding the plants themselves. Plants make their own sugars through photosynthesis after all. What we're actually doing is feeding the soil food web, that incredible underground ecosystem of microorganisms that does the heavy lifting when it comes to nutrient cycling. When you apply a diluted sugar solution to your soil, you're providing easily accessible carbon that beneficial bacteria and fungi can metabolize rapidly. This boost in microbial activity has cascading effects throughout the root zone. More active microbes means faster breakdown of organic matter, better soil structure through the production of sticky substances that bind soil particles together, and crucially, enhanced nutrient availability for your plants. The key to success with sugar lies entirely in restraint and proper dilution. We're talking about 1 tablespoon of plain white sugar dissolved in a gallon of water, applied once every 3 to 4 weeks during the growing season. For seedlings and transplants, you can use a half-strength solution to encourage early root establishment without overwhelming the young plants. Some gardeners worry that sugar will attract pests like ants, but when properly diluted and applied directly to the soil, rather than foliage, this rarely becomes an issue. The sugar is consumed so quickly by soil microbes that there's simply not enough residual sweetness to create a pest problem. For those working with compost piles, a light sprinkling of sugar over fresh organic matter can significantly speed up decomposition by giving your compost microbes an energy boost. Wood ash represents concentrated plant nutrition in its most elemental form. When wood burns, the carbon is released as carbon dioxide, but the minerals that the tree absorbed during its lifetime remain behind in the ash. The result is a potassium-rich amendment that also provides significant amounts of calcium, magnesium, and various trace elements. Potassium is particularly crucial for plants because it regulates water movement, strengthens cell walls, activates enzymes, and plays a central role in flowering and fruit development. Plants deficient in potassium often show scorched leaf edges, weak stems, and poor fruit quality, problems that wood ash can help address. However, wood ash demands respect and careful use. The most critical rule is that you must only use ash from untreated, unpainted wood. Pressure-treated lumber, painted wood, or any wood that's been chemically processed can contain arsenic, chromium, copper compounds, and other toxins that have no place in your garden. Once you've confirmed your ash source is clean, you'll want to sift it to remove any large charcoal chunks, as these can be abrasive and aren't as immediately useful as the fine ash. Wood ash is highly alkaline, with a pH often exceeding 10, which means it can raise soil pH significantly. This makes it excellent for gardeners dealing with acidic soils, but potentially problematic for those with neutral or alkaline conditions. Always keep wood ash away from acid-loving plants like blueberries, azaleas, and rhododendrons, as it can make their soil too alkaline and lock up the iron they need to thrive. Application rates matter tremendously with wood ash. A light hand is always better than overdoing it. For most garden beds, about half a cup per square meter, lightly worked into the topsoil and watered in thoroughly, provides plenty of nutrition without risking nutrient imbalances or pH swings. For individual fruiting plants like tomatoes, peppers, or squash, 1 to 2 tablespoons scratched into the soil around the base of the plant keeping it away from stems, delivers a targeted potassium boost right when these heavy feeders need it most. We recently conducted a straightforward comparison in our own garden beds to see just how much difference this combination might make. We selected 2 identical raised beds planted with the same tomato variety, giving both beds identical baseline care in terms of water, mulch, and general attention. The control bed received our standard organic fertilizer program, while the experimental bed received the same baseline care, plus bi-weekly applications of diluted sugar solution, and a single application of wood ash at transplanting, followed by another light application at the onset of flowering. The differences became apparent within just 3 weeks. The sugar and ash-treated plants showed noticeably darker green foliage and thicker stems. By week 6, the treated plants had initiated flowering earlier and showed more flower clusters per plant. The final harvest told the most compelling story. The experimental bed produced approximately 30% more fruit by weight, and the tomatoes themselves showed better flavor intensity and firmer texture. While this represents just one growing season of observation, the results align with what we understand about how these amendments work. The sugar kept soil microbial populations active and engaged, ensuring steady nutrient cycling throughout the season, while the wood ash provided the potassium punch needed for superior fruit development. The combination of sugar and wood ash represents a return to simple, observation-based gardening wisdom backed by our modern understanding of soil biology and plant nutrition. This approach costs virtually nothing, uses materials that might otherwise go to waste, and works with natural processes rather than trying to force results through synthetic chemistry. Whether you're growing vegetables, flowers, or maintaining perennial beds, incorporating these amendments thoughtfully into your routine can yield genuinely impressive improvements in plant performance. Start small, observe your plant's responses, and adjust your approach based on what you see in your own garden conditions. Every soil is different, every microclimate presents unique challenges, and the joy of gardening lies partly in becoming attuned to these variations. If you try this method in your garden, we'd genuinely love to hear about your experience. Share your results in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to the Humus Heritage for more practical, proven gardening strategies that honor both tradition and science. Until next time, happy growing.